How you doing? It's me, Dave Craig, with another edition of Turbo Daily, and I want to talk about three things today: apples, bananas, and it was going to be pears, but I decided to change it to powers for a very simple reason. Right, let's backtrack a bit. By the way, this is live from Dubai. If you just joined me, nice to see you. I can't look at the camera because I'm in my car, and if you look behind me, you can see other cars which are probably going to stare at me, because you know when people sit in a car and they talk to themselves, now you can do it because people think you're talking to, say, somebody on the phone. So it's fair enough. They don't know I'm talking to myself, which makes me mental, but I'm not really mental because I'm talking to you guys at the same time. But we're all mental, really. So, a long time ago, you wouldn't get away with it. That's all I'm saying. So a lot of people now are in the car. I'd like to be able to sometimes stop their car and say, right, who are you talking to? And if they say nobody, then get a big butterfly net. So get back to original conversation. Three things I want to talk about: apples, bananas, and powers. The first two actually link together, to be honest with you. The first one, in apples, is because I spent all day trying to get one of these things. Know what it is? Have a look at this. See that? That is the connection lead I need for my iPhone. Now, what I did before, because don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna incur the wrath of the great and almighty Apple, but I use my phone a lot and I travel quite a lot. So after a while, what happens is the wire gets a bit sort of like on and off. Frayed, I think is the term I'm looking for. So sometimes you plug in and it doesn't work. Sometimes you plug in and it does work, and it can be kind of annoying because then when you want to recharge your phone and you're on the go, or you're in your hotel room, you've got to sort of balance it and not touch it. And if you need to check on the time or somebody rings you, you've got to balance it, check on the time, and then balance it again. And it's gone off again. Oh, it's back on again. It's gone off. And if you're really unlucky and you haven't worked out how to set it, as in me, then it goes beep, beep, beep every time you try and change the cable. So what did I do? I went and bought a thicker cable from a third-party supplier, which was obviously not from the name I mentioned earlier, a well-known fruit, green and red flavoured or coloured. So I bought a third-party one, much thicker cable. So I put it on. I thought, okay, we're not going to get the little breaky issue if I'm like jerking about and trying to put it in and travelling and all the rest of it. What I didn't realise was there's ways around it. I had a conversation with a man in a shop today, and I don't know whether it's completely true or he just saw that I was walking in with a fish hook in my mouth, and so he could pull it and make me believe anything. But he's saying that basically, when there's a software update, it checks to see if the cabling that you've got is correct, and if it's not an official one, it starts rejecting it and says that you can't use it anymore. I don't know if this is true. It might be a hearsay. I'd love to say from the fruit-based company. If you want to contact me, let me know. Apple. I'd love to find out if that is actually true or not. So I ended up not being able to use my replacement third-party cable. So instead of that, what I ended up having to do was go to a very famous shop, which is a brand shop, and purchase a brand new official cable. And what great value that turned out to be, except it is kind of working now, but I'm still getting a clicky on and off. So it makes me wonder whether it's getting less of a clicky on and off when I connect it. As long as I don't breathe, then it should be fine for a little while. Or if I leave a room, then I can use my phone perfectly by telekinesis or telepathy or something. But it sort of gets me back to the same problem. What I don't understand is, why can't you just use any cable with anything? Hey, it's a big world. Android does it. They share and share alike. Why can't do the same thing? All I'm saying, I never used to buy in, but I buy in now, and all my products are made by that big fruit-based company. All I'm saying is the cables can be annoying. That's it. Nothing else. Please don't sue me. So what about bananas? Well, I only brought it up because it was sending me bananas to have to think about it, wondering how I could share this with you without getting a court case. And I probably didn't get away with it. And the third thing, powers, is I wish I had superpowers. That's it, really. Don't you? Do you ever think you had superpowers? If you did have a superpower, because nowadays the world has gone superhero crazy. True? Everywhere you turn, there's a brand new Marvel or DC or whatever superhero movie coming out. There's a lot of indie ones which are kind of weird, but usually quite good value because the stories tend to be pretty good as well. But if you had one superpower, not like in Heroes, where Heroes started off really good and then became really weird and boring, and it moved at a snail's pace. And the only thing good in it was Sylar, because he was horrible. He killed everybody, and after a while, when you start rooting for the bad guy because he's the only interesting person in the entire show, then maybe it's time to slow it down or stop it, which is, I think, kind of what happened. It self-destructed. So what would your superpower be? Now, some people say, I'd like to fly, but you've got to think about it in context. If you could fly, then okay, so you could get yourself up there in speed. But remember, when you're in a plane, then you've got all that metal surrounding you. If you could get up to that height, wouldn't all the flesh jump off your bones? I don't know. I just think you'd be a flying skeleton, or you get that thing in G-force, and your face would be like that, like Joan Rivers. I'm not sure how that would work. I think you'd have to have a special suit, like our friends who do the squirrel suit stuff, so maybe it can be done. Depends what kind of speed you go. So flying might be an interesting one. What about the ability to fire jets at people? Not planes, but to fire, like, flame jets. Would you have that kind of power? I'm much more passive than that. There's nothing... I mean, some people would like to be invisible. I don't want to be invisible. No, it doesn't interest me at all. Not least because of the sciences. The way that it works for your eyes to work is they take in the sunlight, and the light hits the back of your eye. And that's upside down, and it turns it round, and it allows you to see things head on. If you couldn't see because of a light, well, basically, if a light was passing straight through you because you're invisible, you wouldn't be able to focus, so you'd be walking around blind, which kind of defeats the whole point in people not seeing you because you'd bump into them and freak them out. I know how you wouldn't laugh because it'd be just kind of weird. So that wouldn't be my first choice. What I want to do is stop time. That's the power I want. I know it wasn't Heroes, and I can't remember the name of the guy who had it, but the Japanese fella, he was really cool. Hero, that was it. Hero and Heroes. But that's what I want to do. I want to stop time and freeze everybody exactly as they are, so I can just drive home without traffic. I'm not asking for much. I don't want to do anything sinister. I just want to get through this traffic. I'm sat here on the airport road in Dubai, heading towards Sharjah, and the odds are it's going to take me about 2 hours to get back. Maybe 2.5. But with superpowers, yeah, really good. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Dave, imagine you had flying powers. You could go home in like minutes, or even less than that probably. Yeah, but who's going to carry my bag? Or even worse than that, what if I dropped that special cable that I got from that shop that sells cables for my iPhone? If you know, I've given it away again. Am I going to go down and pick it up? I think not. It'd be like a really hardened version of a seagull passing over your head. So that's my thoughts for the day. Hope you're having a lovely one. Hope your day has been very successful, and I'll catch you more or less the same time tomorrow, 8 o'clock-ish, for a trip on the way to school and the way to work, depending on how old you are, or whether you've actually dropped out of school and you've got a job at the age of 7, in which case you're probably making t-shirts and trainers, and shame on your parents, I'm just saying. And I'll catch you on the way back from work around about this time. So, for me, I'm driving safely now.